What's happening, good people? My name is Brian Boggs, as the screen says. I'm a retired naval officer after 25 years of faithful service, and I'm a serial entrepreneur. We're here to take a ride, a journey, to give you a perspective that you ain't never considered. And I want to introduce you to my brother, my partner in this thing. Tell him what your name is, bro.
You got it, brother. My name is Antoine Jarvis. Um, Also an entrepreneur, own a trucking company, and I also am an over-the-road truck driver. For some who don't know what that means, it's a truck driver who literally goes all across the nation, delivering goods from state to state. I've been doing this for the last 7 years and definitely enjoy it. Now, trying my hand into podcasting because I think it's a great platform. I don't think that you can ever have too many platforms for us to be able to have certain type of conversations where other people can provide their feedback and we can really have an open dialogue on a lot of things that are really hid in the closet, if you will.
I like that a lot, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of people that have sheltered lives where they're only around the same type of thinkers. And sometimes you got to be exposed to a different train of thought so you can develop your own.
Mm,
You know
I
what
can
I'm
see that. I
saying?
can see that.
All right. So today we're going to talk about, is disrespect real? And is it worth a violent retaliation? What you think, bro?
Well, it's definitely unless it's life or death, it shouldn't be. We shouldn't be kicking off any violent retaliation. And the question is, disrespect real? Um, it can be very real. You know what I mean? It can definitely be very real. The reason why I say it can be very real because if something means something to me, nobody can tell me that it doesn't mean that to me. You know what I'm saying? I
So what does
reserve the
real
right
mean
to.
then?
Huh?
So what does real mean?
Real means it actually is something. You know what I mean? It actually does mean something. Um, it's real to me. It's the opposite of fake. Um, it's how I would answer that one.
I got you. So for me, like real is a third party can touch it and see it and feel the same way that the first party feels. So I think it's more of a perception thing for me, which perceptions are real to the individual, but they're not real in general. They're just how that individual sees it. But that doesn't make it tangible in my eyes. And for me, is disrespect real? I'm gonna say real disrespect is where a person is actively attacking you. But as far as a person actions and you take it as disrespect, I don't think that's real. I think that's a function of a person have expectation how a person is going to operate or act or talk or conduct themselves. They didn't meet it. They did it. The other person is doing what they see fit, how they deem how they should be, and then the person that had this expectation now feels disrespected because they didn't do what they thought they should have did. I think about when we were kids and stuff. When your parents said, don't play rap music in the house. That's disrespectful." I mean, but what's the difference between rap music and playing a movie that cuss? At the end of the day, they cussing in the movie. They play Richard Pryor all day, Eddie Murphy. Nothing. But now you want to play NWA, and there's issue. It's disrespectful.
And it's funny you said that because um, I used to bounce that same way of thinking. Obviously when I was a kid, I was like, F it, I'll listen to whatever the hell I want to listen to. You know what I mean? As I became an adult and started to mature as an adult, I started to be more cautious of the things, you know what I mean, the music lyrics I have my kids listen to. Um, you know, like say for example, my mom gets in the car and my mom, you know, she's from the streets, you know what I'm
Right.
saying, but she's still a senior citizen,
Right.
right? And grew up on the OJs and the Marvin Gayes and you know what I'm saying, the Shy Lights and all of that. So when my kids jump in the car, you know, when me and my kids are together, we listen to rap sometimes. You know what I mean? Some oldies as well, some R&B and rap. So, you know, when they get in the car with their grandma, they on autopilot, right?
Makes
And they
sense.
throw in the rap. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. You know, your grandma's in the car. Oh, shoot. My bad, Dad. Then we're playing because of the respect. You know what I'm saying? I feel she's earned the respect to not be disrespected with, you know, certain type of music that we listen to.
But why
But
do you think
I've
that's
posted
disrespecting?
videos, huh?
But why do you think that's being disrespecting?
Because you know, at the end of it, because in my mind, right, in my mind, right, I'm like, she don't want to hear bitches and hoes and killing and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Um, so in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, because she's expressed that before. You know, why do you always got to listen to that type of music with degrading women and all that type of? And I'm like, cause it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Because I like it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and so you know, for because she brought it up in the past before, that still remains in my head. So when you know when it's playing around her, that's what I think about. I go back to that instant.
I got you. I got you. So it's funny how you took that approach, and then for me, since my mom was the same way. When I was a youngster, you know, I couldn't play the cuss and rap in the house. As I became an adult, so when I got out the army and I was driving back, my mom flew out to Colorado to drive back to Cincinnati with me, and it's my car. And I tell my mom straight up, I say, "Hey, mom, you know I love you. You know I respect you to the fullest. But since I'm driving, I got to listen to the music that I like listening to that hypes me up." And she's like, "That's cool. I understand." And I played whatever I wanted to play. And I was good. Like I remember the one time I had to change the music. Like Too Short it came on, and it got a little too much for her. She gave me a look, and I was like, all right, I'll change this CD to a different one, you know. But like now to this day, when my mom's in the car with me, I play whatever I want to hear because my mom knows it's not about disrespect. Plus, she understands that her uh, time in the music that she listened to isn't necessarily the music that I listen to or the music that my kids listen to. So we have the firm belief that whoever's driving dictates the music that's played. So if my son is driving and he's playing Tyler the Creator, who I try to get with, but he's a little too different for me sometimes, I let him play Tyler the Creator. I don't change it because he's driving. I learn how to adapt. I get myself in a better place so that I'm not feeling any kind of emotional way of anything that even really isn't directed towards me. 'Cause that's the other part of it. You know, people take, you know, music and they feel it's disrespectful. You know, like your mom said, they're degrading women, they're talking all this violence. I'm like, but at the end of the day, it's entertainment. You know, if you go watch a boxing match where people are beating themselves to a pulp, you know, it's a sport. You know, it ain't like they're really trying to kill each other, but you can accept that. Why can't you accept some music talking about some things that happened some time ago somewhere else?
I'm gonna have to agree. I'm gonna have to agree to disagree on that one. Only
I can dig it.
because, only because at the end of the day, um, no woman wants to hear other women being called bitches all the
How you
time.
know?
Um, let me take that back. So my mom,
Okay.
so my mom, can't speak for all women, right? So
Exactly.
my mom, right, and the women that I associate myself with don't want to hear, themselves being called bitches all the damn time. So because of that, I kind of felt that for one, it was two things. One thing was okay, it's a respect thing, right? Which I get. Boom, it is what it is. Another thing is, a lot of people don't want to be put in this box. They don't want to be put in this box of this is how things are, and this is how you this is it, this. It's okay for you to look at me like this if I'm not in my head to the music that you're listening to. You know what I'm saying? So yes, to people, to some people, it can be entertainment, and then to others, it may hit home for them because at the end of the day, I've been in situations where, like I said, my mom was like, "Twan, I don't want to hear that stuff." You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear that stuff. And I'm like, well, you know what I'm saying? Like this is the stuff like, Mom, you listened to like this type of stuff before, and she's like, I don't want to hear that. And I'm all right. We're not gonna argue, even though it's my car and I'm driving and I need my, my upbeat music to listen to, for this 2-hour drive. You got this one. You know what I'm saying? I'll play something that has still has an upbeat to it, that we both can listen to and we both can enjoy. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
so
But do
again,
you
for
think that's
me,
disrespectful, or do you think you're just acquiescing to a request?
I think it's I think it's I think it's a little bit of both. Me
You do?
personally, I think it's a little bit of both. I feel that um, her voice is definitely heard, right? I am listening to her, and then the idea of you know men calling women bitches, you know what I mean, is another form of disrespect.
Women
I
call
try
women
to
bitches
air.
all the time.
I do. I know for a fact I do. You know what I'm saying? I know for a fact that's something I got to work on. Um, Me personally, right? Me personally, I got to work on it because I use that a lot, but I also got a daughter. So in my mind, I'm like, I'd be damned. I'd be damned. Exactly. So I'd be damned if some, you know what I'm saying, some Tyrone, you know what I mean, tries to call my daughter, you know what I mean, that. So that's where in my mind, that's where it's a little bit of both, of respecting her and you know what I mean, kind of hearing her voice, because I make it near and dear to me because I can see things from her perspective in regards to how she feels about that.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you this because me hearing what you're saying, because I lived the same type of experience, but to
Right.
me, it seems like it's a perception problem and not a disrespect problem. And the reason why I say it's a perception problem is because like my mom was just like your mom. She didn't want to hear this, she didn't want to hear that. But over time, she learned how to appreciate what I like and realize it wasn't always about what she liked. And that was her growing to accept me and what I like. You see what I'm saying? And to me, and that showed a tremendous amount of respect my mom had for me, is that she allowed me to do what I wanted to do, to listen to, instead of trying to dictate what I should listen to. You see what I'm saying?
I can see that. I can see that. Um, because respect does go both ways.
Respect goes both ways.
Respect does go both ways. You know
You
what I'm
know what I'm saying?
saying?
If it's only a one-way thing, what is that? What is that sound?
That static, you hear
Yeah, I
static?
hear. Yeah, I just hear this cracking. Can you hear
Yeah, every time you talk, it's static. Can you hear it?
I'll hear it now.
I only hear
That, but
when you
that is
talk.
definitely when I talk. We'll see how it turns out when we look at the videos. Hello?
Okay. That's
You went
weird.
out.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I hear you. The video is frozen. And now there you go. Now you're back. But
Okay.
you're
Okay,
frozen.
cool.
Okay, you're good now. You're good now.
It could just be the signal issues right now. Um,
It's all good. It's all
I'm
good.
assuming. Yeah,
We'll,
that's what we got editing tools for.
exactly. And that's that's why we're just recording so we can see how this thing goes. You see what I'm saying? One piece of advice. Don't get too close because you cut off half your head. Like you get your screen, your camera was cutting off. Like you get on like this part up was disappearing.
Oh
That way,
shit.
let
Okay.
everybody
Okay.
see your gorgeous face, man.
There you go. Okay.
You
There
know,
you
everybody
go.
want
There
to see
you
Vince
go.
Carter.
There you go. I bet. So I gotta watch. Okay.
Yeah.
All
So,
right.
but back to I was saying though, man, like for me, um, as I've just progressed through time and understanding, most things that people consider disrespectful aren't. And the reason why I say they aren't because for me, in the definition of disrespectful, you must take an active role in trying to be disrespectful. You must be taking an active role to show you don't care about them. So you doing what you do is not taking an active role to show that you don't care about them. Uh, and then if the other person respects you, they'll take an active role to show they care about you as well. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's as simple as a simple conversation because people only understand things how they understand them. You know,
Right.
and that's why, like I told you, like, you know, like before my mom did the ride with me when I was coming from Colorado to Cincinnati, that's why I had that conversation with her beforehand. Like, hey, ma, I need this because I need to be able to hear my music the way I need to hear it. But what I'm saying, but like that conversation, it it opened up that avenue to where she could see what it was that I liked and needed. And she was able to give me that because she respected me. You see what I'm saying?
I can see that. I can see that. I can see how that could be a perspective or a view to, you know what I mean, also utilize um, a deconflicted version of, you know, of the concept that's being presented. You know, ultimately, you know, a person's going to choose whatever way works best for them. Hopefully, they choose to deconflict the issue versus trying to, you know, escalate it. Um, you know, when it comes down to the come down, you know, even in our podcast, we you know, we really stand by resulting to violence as your last means, you know, as a very last option, and it'd be a life or death situation. Um,
The
you
only
know,
time.
the only time. Outside of that, you know, it's a sign of weakness, you know, for allowing somebody else to occupy your mind and dictate how you respond and react to, you know, what they say and do. Um, so great. I'm glad we got to have this conversation. You know what I mean? And hopefully, you know, the younger generation, when we start, you know, posting these and these young bulls start listening to, you know, start hearing these podcasts and things like that, that they can hear, they can gravitate towards this information and decide for themselves what's a better way, what's a better play to go off of. You know what I mean? They can take a little bit from me, take a little bit from you, and formulate their own, understanding of these different scenarios that they put themselves in. Um, just recently, I want to say within this last week since I've been here, there was this rapper named Trouble,
Yeah.
TTL, and some sucker ass individual literally gunned him down because he was mad that he was still dealing with, that he was dealing with with his ex, which is another example. I was talking to my homeboy and I was telling him, I said, this is another example of where are the men in these people in these other men's lives? Where
See,
is the
that's
leadership in
there
these
you go.
in
Say
these
leadership.
communities?
You can't say men because it's probably men that's just as sucker as them.
But to me, that's not a man. That's a male.
See, I'm in agreement,
You know what I'm saying?
but in their mind,
That's a man.
that's a man.
Yeah, I get it.
You know
I
what I'm
told, I
saying?
told, I totally understand that, and I get it. It just hurt me to see, you know what I'm saying, especially somebody that looked like me do something that goofy to another person that looked like me. You know what I'm saying? Especially over some woman when he goes do life in jail, right? For some woman that's gonna be on the delta of the next Pookie or the next Ray Ray.
They don't a woman that don't want them. Like I like that's one thing I could never understand is how a man will choose violence against another man over a woman that doesn't want him. I've had that happen in my life where a dude wanted static with me over a chick that didn't want him no more. Super sucker stuff.
I just don't get it. I'll
It's,
never understand it. I mean,
I mean, it's sucker shit. It's
it's
a,
it,
it's a
it,
sucker attack.
period. There is.
Period.
Listen, if you try to, if you, and this is why I promote there has to be a baseline for how a man conducts himself versus a male. I know everybody don't get behind that, and that's okay. But I think when the lines are blurred like that, that type of stuff becomes an option. And because I stand upright when I urinate, you know what I'm saying? I'm a man. Nah, man, you still are a male here. You may have the body of a man, but you are a male here. And I think that until we create a baseline, and then it's okay that not everybody's, when people hear this, people are going to be in the comments saying, "Hey, man, there shouldn't be," everybody's going to have their own perspective on what a man is.
Right.
I just feel like when we blur the lines of what a man is, right? Um, and how man's supposed to conduct himself, I think this is where the stuff gets a little tricky. Like on that movie, The Mac, where he said, "Hey, man, yo B chose me."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so when you think of that and you hear it like that, you're like, man, it is what it is. Let that joint go and keep it pushing on to the next. This dude decided to say, you know what? Nope, I'm not gonna let this dude who is with a woman who doesn't want me no more be with that woman. To the point to where I'm gonna walk up on him when he's sitting in the parking lot. I'm gonna walk up on him and gun him down, right?
No, did you hear the whole story of how that what went down?
No, I didn't. I know his mom told on him or something like that, but I didn't hear the whole
So he was
story.
so Trouble was in bed with the woman. The dude came in, started beating on the woman. Trouble tried to defend, intervene. Dude shot Trouble.
Oh, okay. Because on the news here in Georgia, they're saying he got shot in his car.
Did they say that there? Because I had saw that too, but then I saw another article yesterday that uh adjusted it and said that he was in his bed. So I don't know what the real truth is. Regardless of whatever the real truth is, it was some sucker shit from a dude that think he's a big man when really he's a growing boy because he's trying to he's mad that a woman that he likes doesn't like him anymore. And again, that's disrespectful to him because he loves her so much, and he chose violence as the retaliation method, which just makes zero sense. Zero.
Yeah, it is very unfortunate that took place. Um, you know what I mean. Rest in peace to the young brother. You know what I mean. Sending positive energy and prayers out to his family, man.
Same
This is a
here.
horrible way. I just seen a video of him. He just bought his mom and dad a new home out here in Georgia.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just very unfortunate. You know what I mean? That dude's young. You know what I mean? Gets gunned down over some goofy stuff like this, man. That could have been avoided if there were more conversations of, again, how I look at it. There's more conversations of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable for men. And I think one thing that should be spread is the concept of, man, as soon as you're done with that woman, you got to detach yourself, because when you overly love somebody, and you don't know how to process those emotions, you'll still be attached to a person, even after you guys are divorced or after you guys are separated.
And the key, in my mind, is always to keep the perspective. Attachment is a two-way street. No matter how much you love, care, lust, uh, want this person, if they don't want you back, you need to temper yourself.
And I feel
Because
personally that that you get in, as a man, you overly in love with this woman is going to cause you to lose sight of the importance of utilizing logic, because now your emotions are making the decisions for you. That's an emotional decision. Him shooting somebody because it's not logical,
now
right?
it probably was logical to him.
No, no way.
See,
There's no
again,
way.
you're trying to instill your logic on another person. That's probably logical for him.
We can agree to disagree.
Check this out. I'm gonna show you how it's probably logical for him. Because one, we don't know the young man. We don't know what his upbringing was like. We don't know the type of people that was around him that influenced the way he thought. So,
Right.
but apparently they were broken up for a week. So he left. He was gone. It wasn't like he was sitting outside waiting for her in trouble to come back and he confronted them before they got into place. He probably was out drinking, talking with his boys. He talking about, man, I can't believe this chick did this, this, this. You know what? Man, I can't take that, man. She gonna disrespect me like that, man. And she gonna go with this cornball ass dude, this rapper dude. And that's why he went back. That's what happened in the middle of the night. That was logical. See, because emotional is immediate.
Yeah, but see, I feel the reason why I say it's emotional, right, is because, for one, we don't have enough information, for one. But for two, the reason why I say it's emotional is because for you to come to the conclusion that something that you're feeling, right, something that you're feeling is causing you to be so upset and so angry, right, that, because how I look at logic is being able to think about it, not so much what you're feeling, but what you understand,
But
based off of what you're seeing and
but
what's
hear
in
what you're
front of
saying.
you.
Hear what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel, based off of his the little bit of information we know, based off of what he did and how he responded with the shooting of this young brother, he was reacting out of emotion, based off of how he felt.
Okay.
That's why I say it's not logic more
So
so than it is emotion.
I'm gonna illuminate something to you, brother.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say it was logic is because one, logic does not come without emotion. Every logical outcome has an emotional starting place. Your emotions is what you feel first, how I feel. And then it goes through a process in your brain, your thought process, and then you come to a logical outcome. So now the shooting probably wasn't logical. The shooting was probably reactionary. But the decision to go over there to confront his ex-girlfriend was logical.
See, but we don't know if we went over there. He could have been sitting out there the whole entire time.
You know what? They've been broken up for a week, right? Or at least that's what the article said, that they were broken up for a week. Regardless of how long they were broken up. He wasn't sitting out there for days on end.
But see that, but that's the thing. No, nobody knows on if he went through a whole stalker phase. You know what I mean? No,
Even
nobody knows.
stalking is a logical decision.
I can't see the logic in that.
Because it's not your logic, but that doesn't mean it's not logical.
I see what you're saying. Pull up the definition of logic. What you got the definition of logic as?
There you go. Definition of logic.
There we go. Let's do that.
I used to know it. I can't remember it at this very time, but I believe it's something about the thought process. Let me see. Logic decision, the definition. Reasoning conducted or assessed according to strict principles of validity. A system or set of principles underlying a range of elements in a computer okay, that doesn't apply. So reasoning, conducted or assessed according to strict principles of validity. And that's what he did. That stalking is logic of a deranged mind.
Could
Because
be.
again, emotional is instantaneous, man. Like when you're emotional, as soon as you feel it, you do something. That's the reason why, women who tend to have let their emotions take the lead will do things instantaneously from an emotional place. And that's the reason why men, when we get emotional, we pause so that we can think about it. Now, if your thought processes are jacked up and you don't have good logic, you're gonna have a bad logical outcome.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Like the guy
I see
used
what you're
logic, it just
saying.
wasn't good logic. It was just bad logic.
I we can
Because
agree to
you're saying
disagree.
from your mind.
We can agree to disagree. Yeah, because it could be that. It could be it's still coming from here. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And my logic is not the same. It could be that. It just doesn't mesh well with my spirit because it could be because that's just how my logic is set up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it definitely could. It definitely could be that. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Once we get this thing edited and posted, a lot of people are going to provide their feedback and
Oh,
commentary
absolutely.
on
I mean,
what it is.
and here's another part when we talk on logic, like suicide. Do you think it's emotional or logical?
I think it's not just. I think that question is not really just a yes or no because you got to
Here you
break
go.
down.
Do
Now
you
you're talking
think
about
the
the mindset.
outcome of suicide is a logical outcome or an emotional outcome?
I think it's a little bit of both.
See, I think it's a logical outcome.
I think it's a
And the
little bit of
reason why I
both
think it's a
because
logical, see,
go ahead,
the
brother.
emotion is the feelings behind it of what's making you consider it. But to actually do it, you must have went through a thought process and said, you know what, this is the best outcome that I could come up with.
So that's why I say it's both. because you go through the emotional phase first, and then from the emotional, now based off of how I felt or what I think I feel, off of what I'm internalizing, based off of that, this is the decision I think is the best one for me.
And that's why I said earlier, every logical outcome has an emotional starting place. But there are emotional outcomes that are totally different than a logical outcome.
I can see that, but again, that's why I say, you know, again, I feel suicide is different because
Why is it
of
different?
the because of where a person is, what a person suffers from. Excuse me. What a person suffers from before he comes to the conclusion that it makes sense to go ahead and knock his own noodles out. You know what I'm saying? If he decides to shoot himself, or you know what I mean, because typically that's how people do it.
Right.
Because of self-preservation, you know what I mean. It's very rare you find people slitting their wrist and dying that way and bleeding out. Typically, people tend to do it the quick way.
I,
Um,
I would disagree.
Okay, okay. I can I and that's okay. Uh, so that's why I said, to my point about the mental part of it is, um, mentally I feel it's a mental condition because you know your mind is functioning differently. The way you process things are different than what some others process things. I'm not even gonna say what's them, process things differently than what's normal, because what the fuck is normal? Uh, so I'm not going to say that, but I will say, you know what I'm saying? I definitely will say a person processes things differently. And that's why I say they're more emotional, because all the things that they're looking at before they make that decision are all the things that they say that they feel. You know what I'm saying? All the ways that they think that they feel, and based off of those feelings, I'm gonna respond in this way based off of these feelings. Boom. You know what I'm saying?
You know, anything you think is based upon something you feel.
It is. It is.
So, so to give a better, like I'm gonna go back to the suicide thing, because you say suicide, you think that's partially emotional. I mean, but there's no real difference between suicide and homicide besides who's the person that's killed. And the reason why I say more, you say most people die from gunshot, because it's quicker. But the reason why I disagree is I think most people die from drugs and alcohol. That's suicide, because they know it's killing them and they keep doing it.
But the one reason why I disagree is because in my mind, when I drink, I'm not drinking to kill
I ain't talking
myself.
about
Even
you. See, you're
right.
personalizing it. Don't
Well,
personalize it.
well, because for in my head, for me to process it in a way that understands it, how you're presenting it, you know what I'm saying? You just now said drugs and alcohol is a way that people commit suicide. So
The,
I'm
the number
assuming,
one way, and I
right?
and I bet if I Googled it, I bet the number one method of suicide is drugs and alcohol.
It could be.
I bet you that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It definitely could be. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I said the gun is not so much as that being the leader, but that suicide. People who are suicidal want to get it done fast um, versus slow.
Who
And
says
again,
that?
that's just a guesstimation. I'm not
Yeah, that's
suicidal.
that's a guesstimation. So you're being pretty
Guesstimation.
presumptive.
Right. Exactly.
See me,
Which again, like I
I'm
said, me personally, I didn't smoke weed before, and I still drink alcohol from time to time, not as much
I
as I
ain't
used
saying
to.
drinking and smoking weed is committing suicide. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about people that take pills until they go to sleep and don't wake up. You know, people that inject heroin or take a bad shot knowing that it might kill someone they knew already, or fentanyl. People know how
Yeah, but
deadly fentanyl is.
I
Hold
don't
on, let
think
me
that they
finish. Let me
processing it like that though
let me finish. Let
before.
me finish. Let me finish.
Go ahead, brother.
Uh, people that take fentanyl knowing they know how deadly it is. People that drink every day and don't eat nothing. I had an aunt that did that. She drank all day, every day, didn't eat anything until she died. Now, some people take this, I think more people take the slow road to suicide because they want to stay in an altered state of thought. That way, they're not feeling the pain that is making them not want to live.
I can see that. I can see that. I just don't. I just, and again, just my assumption, my presumption, um, is that people are not thinking, "I want to die. I want to die. I want to kill myself" when they on that heroin or when they on that those pills. They just want to get that feeling that they like to feel. You know what I'm saying?
Why do people commit suicide?
That I don't know.
I think they've done a study. One of the primary reasons that people
You
commit
think or do
suicide,
you know?
I know,
Okay.
the primary reason people commit suicide is to escape a problem.
So drugs and alcohol can do that.
That is that they have a problem. People during the crash, the stock market crash, they lost all their money. I'm broke. I don't know what to do. I don't want to live like this. I'm jumping out this goddamn building. I'm jumping out this window. Most people commit suicide to escape a problem that is too big in their eyes. Alcohol and drugs are used to escape problems.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay. I just got a phone call real quick. Um, and I get that. I get that perspective. Um, we can to be continue this one.
sound like a
We can to be
plan.
continue this one. You know what I mean? Because I keep getting phone calls and I'm supposed to be at this hotel at 12. So let's to be continue this one. I like where this is going. I know they're gonna go crazy in the comments. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you already
Everybody,
know.
yeah, everybody's gonna have their perspective. Um, like always, it's always a good build. Building with you, brother. It's always a pleasure. You
Same
know,
here, man.
this is definitely one that hopefully if nothing else, people can learn how to look at things from a deconflicted perspective. On how to approach life situations. Um,
Absolutely.
and if that's the case, then then we did our job.
Hey, we just trying to spread love in the world, baby. That's it.
There you go. That's it, man. Hey, that's all I want to spread, man, is love and understanding. You know what I mean? At all times, brother. So again, it's a pleasure. You enjoy the rest of your day. Um, and man, let's we can definitely table this one.
All right, sound like a plan, brother. I'll get with you in a little bit.
Sounds like a plan, brother. You enjoy the rest of your day, brother. Talk to you
All right,
later.
you too, man.
All right, peace to the gods.
All right, peace.